welcome back to Take a Pitch.
It's been a while.
Been a little bit. World Series is wrapped up, and we are now on to the offseason.
Yeah, it's been interesting, to say the least. Took us about a week to kind of get our thoughts together for all this, and obviously our schedules and such. But
yeah, and it's
there was a lot though.
Yeah.
A lot more than I feel like we expected.
Yeah.
Between Randy raking out of nowhere throughout the postseason, which was fucking awesome. Game 4, how that ended.
Yeah.
And then how the World Series really ended with the big news, which we'll touch on later. There was a lot, to say the least. Did any of us have Dodgers in 6, by the way?
No. 3 of us had Rays in 6, and somebody had Dodgers in 7.
All right.
I believe.
Billy, you had Billy's. You had Dodgers, right?
I did pick the Dodgers. Yeah.
I think you were the only one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Macca wasn't with us.
Macca wasn't here.
He wanted the Dodgers anyway.
Yeah, I picked Dodgers in 7.
Yeah. But so yeah, let's just jump right into the World Series. I'd say probably one of the better World Series matchups we've seen in a while.
Yeah, it was actually the 2 best teams from each league.
Yeah. Something we don't get that often.
No. Very often.
Okay.
No, I was just gonna say, you don't get that.
And that's what's great about baseball, though. I got to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's these guys, the teams that come out of nowhere. Like the Giants early in the 2010s, they were wild cards sometimes. Obviously, the Dodgers finally finished it off after years of choking.
Yeah. Well, so here's my analysis on it, and
what do you got?
You guys let me know if you agree. So I think the biggest reason as to why the Dodgers won is primarily because it was a 60-game season. Now, Clayton Kershaw, notorious, one of the worst postseason pitchers ever, has, I think it was like bottom 10 in World Series ERA ever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
May have even been worse, may have been bottom 5. But so usually he's, it's October Kershaw. Didn't get started until late July. These guys were really pitching as if they were in June?
Which explained why the Mets sucked.
Yeah, they were the first half Mets.
Yeah, no, Kershaw was less taxed, which
exactly
significantly helped him because he's usually putting up 200 innings a season, and by then he's got no velocity on his fastball usually by then. And it's all downhill.
Exactly, and I think that played a huge factor into the Dodgers' success in the playoffs this year. And now Max got a phone call. So.
No, I mean that also played into it, and also their depth actually performed for the first time in years. Like,
yeah,
like Seager was massive this year.
Yeah.
The last couple World Series inexistent. Like Pollock, Kike Hernandez, they came up big. Like, their bench players who played spots,
right,
performed.
I mean, even Justin Turner, who he's hit consistently, but he kind of even hit better.
I don't know. I don't agree because I feel like Justin Turner has been the only one that has been consistently good. Dude, he's just a doubles machine.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember.
He's a gap guy.
Like 2015 playoffs versus the Mets, the NLDS.
I hated him.
Dude, it was an over 400 average, and like every hit was a double. It was like, it got to the point where I was getting so pissed off at him. I was just like, dude, just stop fucking hitting. But he hits.
Yeah. And he's not a bad infielder either, defensively.
No,
he's all right. He's average.
He's not bad.
Especially for being 36 now?
35, 36, yeah. I mean, I feel like his performance got overshadowed by Corey Seager, because Turner really did hit really well in the World Series, which was something that obviously you need all cylinders clicking. And Turner is definitely a key piece. If he doesn't hit, you don't know what that lineup's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I mean with Turner, you could have given him the MVP. You could have given Will Smith the MVP. You could have given a bunch of these guys the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but Seager, Jesus, what he's done this year. Yes, 60-game season, and then the playoffs, fantastic.
I stand corrected. He hit 526 against the Mets
in 2015.
In NLDS. That is stupid.
That's unreal. It's stupid.
Stupid. Dude, he has a 295 postseason average.
How many games?
72.
Wow.
72 games from 2014 to this year.
And it's 295.
When they make the World Series 3 times.
Yeah, you're gonna have a bunch of games.
Get a lot of games, and they went to a lot of Game 7s, I believe.
They did.
One,
I mean, they went to 5 with the Mets in 15.
3, yeah, and then Game 5s, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, they went the distance in a lot of series, and obviously that's gonna play a big factor in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of games.
I mean, how many Game 7s did they play? You said 3.
Say it again.
How many series went 7? You said like 3 or 4?
3.
That's 21 games right there.
Yeah, and that was World Series, NLCS, and then NLCS.
Yeah, that's 21 games right there.
Yeah.
So obviously, a lot of opportunities, as with the rest of the Dodgers team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? In all honesty, they were due. Yeah, I would have liked to see them choke again, just because it's fun. Fun watching teams struggle like that. But I'm happy for most of the Dodgers.
And who doesn't like to see an underdog victory?
Right.
The Rays are the second lowest payroll in baseball.
I mean, you and I talked about it last year. The price per win. The Rays were consistently at the bottom on that list.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously those numbers are inflated this year, being a 60-game season. Regardless, they're still going to be at the bottom.
Their price per win was what? Like
last year was like
2,500.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, last year 250. But yeah, minuscule.
Yeah.
Now I feel like this is really where the beef of this conversation is gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Game 6, Blake Snell.
Yep.
I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about this.
Yeah, I mean the rest of the series pretty much went as is. But let's touch on game 4
with Randy and Summerlin. Yeah.
And Brett Phillips.
Yep.
Not the homie Brett Phillips, but the baseball player Brett Phillips. He got up against Kenley, who had been struggling a little bit up until that point in the playoffs, and got a base hit.
And you gotta remember, Brett Phillips was left off the ALCS roster too.
So yeah. So
he's been cold.
Here's my thing that I didn't like that people were blaming Kenley. Yes, he gave up the hits, blah blah blah, whatever. Chris Taylor botched that ball in center field. He booted it, get right off the bat. He booted it, and then he, what's it called? He had a decent throw to Max Muncy, I believe, right?
Yes, 2 of my least favorites.
And Max Muncy then throws it home, has all the time in the world because Randy fell.
Right, he didn't fall. He just face planted almost.
Yeah, he fell. And
he made that graceful though. Have you seen the video?
Yeah.
Oh, so graceful.
Because he stopped in his tracks and was going to get into a rundown, but then Max Muncy throws the ball wide, and everyone was saying that it was Kenley's fault for not covering, backing up the play. But Kenley would have been on the third base side as a pitcher. He would not have been on the first base side. So didn't make a difference. The Rays just beat him.
Yeah, him falling was the key to that, to be completely honest. Like, if he didn't fall, he's getting swipe tagged at home.
Yep.
That's if Smith catches the ball.
Well, that's the thing, though, because
Smith.
Is
Smith. I don't think Barnes played any defensively.
It was a 12-year-old, yeah.
No, like that's the key, though, because Smith thought he was coming in, like, sliding. He had no clue that he fell.
Yeah.
So the falling, like,
he rushed the swipe.
He rushed the swipe, and that's how he got in.
Yep.
Now, I know we're all Mets fans. Did anyone else have Vietnam flashbacks to 2015?
No, because Lucas Duda wasn't on the field.
And this was a much easier play.
Yeah, no doubt. But
the guy was a sitting duck at 45 feet
100%.
in between each base.
100%.
But, actually, he was a
just
laying duck.
Seeing it happen, just had a little.
No, not at all.
Little war flashback there.
No. Although Duda's should have been an out too, but
yeah. Anyway,
neither here nor there.
No, but and it kind of just adds to the legend that is Randy Arozarena. He got lucky there. Really fucking lucky.
It's tactical.
Now here's where. Yeah, you said you don't like people blaming Kenley.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Kenley back up the plate on all these plays? He never does.
I know, and if I was his manager, he'd probably be getting taken out. But tell me how that changes anything.
It may or may not.
It does not affect the play whatsoever.
How does it change it at all?
Okay, listen. Like I said, it may or may not. Most likely did not.
What's the may?
Most likely would not.
How does it at all?
If he's backing up the catcher, he's there to when it gets by the catcher, as opposed to going to the backstop.
He's on the other side.
The ball hit his glove and went off to the first base side, though.
Yeah. Jansen would be on the left side, the third baseline.
Regardless, you still back up the play no matter what.
Yeah, but it didn't make a difference. To me,
that's just bad fundamentals. I don't like that.
I agree. And like I said, if I was his manager, he would be getting pulled probably. But it would not have made a difference in the play.
No.
The only difference is he's probably would have been slow, and then Max Muncy might have threw it even wider.
True. Very true. But yeah, either way, regardless, a wild end to the game. Wasn't it like 8-7 too?
Yep.
A high scoring affair.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, to game 6, which featured a lot between Snell absolutely cruising. What, he had 2 hits, 9 Ks through 5?
Something like that.
Got pulled after 73 pitches?
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, didn't he hit 80?
It was high 70s, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't think he got the 80 yet.
It was right around 80,
or whatever, yeah. But regardless, guys going, he's just blowing through the orders, the heart of the Dodgers order. They were 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts, right?
Top 3 hitters, that was, I thought.
Top 3, yeah, it was.
Yeah, he struck them all out both times.
Seager, Turner, and Betts.
Yep, 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts.
If you can get those guys to go 0 for 6, regardless of how many strikeouts, you're more than likely going to win the game.
Yeah.
With that Dodgers lineup, no matter, even though they are deep.
Yep, that's where new school baseball kills you.
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you this though: do you blame Kevin Cash for taking them out?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you?
I do, but I also kind of had my mind open to a new theory here.
Let's hear it.
The Rays, they got there by using their bullpen. Yes?
Yes.
That's how they got to the World Series, how they got to Game 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're in that position, you stick with what you know, and you stick with what got you there.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, Anderson did allow a run in all, however many straight outings. He might not have been the right guy to go to.
Right.
But, you kind of stick with what got you there. And I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying he was the right call. Don't get me wrong. It was definitely the wrong call, but I understand.
It's the wrong call because of what the outcome ended up being.
Yes. If they win it, we're talking about a completely different situation.
And it's the same thing in the 2015 World Series with Matt Harvey. That's probably the second most infamous of these, as of right now anyway.
Yeah.
and you let the pitcher who was dominating ride. And
right. You stick with what got you there, and with the Mets in 2015, it was their starting pitching.
Yeah, the only difference though with that is that Harvey was 100 pitches.
Right. He was
And
that
Snell's
way,
at 70 pitches.
Mhm.
Right. But again, you stick with what got you there, which was in the Rays case, their bullpen. So I understand it a little bit.
I personally disagree with both decisions, to leave in Harvey and to take out Snell.
It's just managers not having any feel.
Right.
That's like a Dave. That's such a Dave Roberts move.
Ironic, huh?
I know.
And he made plenty of them in this World Series.
Yeah.
And
I mean, don't get me wrong. Kevin Cash did own up to it, saying it was the wrong move.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
And he said he understands it's going to be heavily criticized. So having a guy like that to understand that, he fucked up and it might not have been. It's going to be criticized.
Mm-hmm.
I respect Kevin Cash for that, but it wasn't the right move. I do understand it though.
Yeah.
But 9 Ks, man.
Yeah.
Blake's talk about ending your season on a high note.
Mm-hmm. Seriously. It was an outstanding performance. There was no reason for him to get pulled. And short, yes, the Rays did get there on the back of their bullpen. Not really on the back, but a big reason was their bullpen.
Major reason, yeah.
But here's my thing, though. Personally, I saw how taxed they were getting in the championship series.
Mm-hmm.
And in the World Series, it started to get worse. These guys were being used every day. Like, how many games did John Curtis pitch in?
Right. We're not talking about Pedro Feliciano anymore.
I'm pretty sure he pitched in every single game.
Right.
And Peter Fairbanks, I'm pretty sure he pitched in every game too.
Anderson pitched in, I think, all but 3.
Dude, like, seriously, they were pitching
the ALCS and World Series. Yeah.
Those 3 pitching every single game combined.
Yeah, and listen, we're not talking about relievers like Pedro Feliciano used to be, where he was a fucking rubber arm.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Arthur Rhodes or any of these old school guys.
These are 3 guys that throw upper 90s, 100.
Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those arms are gonna need some rest. And I think part of it was because of the 2 off days in the World Series. You kind of, plus the off day beforehand, you kind of could understand where he was coming from a little bit. But either way, pitching those especially in high leverage situations, it was rough.
Mm-hmm.
I think Diego Castillo could have been used a little more. And even, using guys out of the bullpen, like using Glasnow out of the bullpen in Game 6.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not Glasnow maybe,
no,
but
one day rest. No shit.
Right, not Glasnow.
Rest.
Not Glasnow, but you know what I mean?
No, I guess. Who was their 4-starter? I don't even know who their 4-starter was.
I don't think they have a 4-starter.
They were. Yeah, then that's your problem.
Says Tyler Glasnow, Ryan Yarbrough.
Yarbrough, but they used
Yarbrough.
Yarbrough opened the game
3,
before that.
Snell and Morton.
Oh,
and
Morton, right.
So the last one is Josh Fleming.
Fleming. They could have brought in. Listen, they have enough pitchers on that roster where they could have mixed and matched, and they didn't have to go to those top 3.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of questionable decision making there, and obviously you're gonna second guess it because hindsight's always 20/20.
Yep.
But being able to get those 3 guys out 6 times, all on strikeouts, that alone says a lot about what Blake Snell had in the tank that night, and maybe what those other guys didn't have. You even heard, I think it was Betts who said it. When they took out Snell, I think nobody was happier than him. The top 3 were elated to see him gone.
Yeah. He was just that was the best I've ever seen Snell pitch.
Yeah,
100%.
And another thing is, he's
every spot.
He's earned that right to go deeper into games because he was a Cy Young winner. Yes, it was 1 season. Don't get me wrong, but he's still a Cy Young winner. That sticks with you forever.
Do you think that's your qualification for going deep in games?
I think it gives you a little bit more.
So why didn't Rick Porcello chuck 7-8 innings every time out this year?
Because he was at 150 pitches by the 3rd inning.
And you know why? It would have been 24-0.
If Rick Porcello held, Seager, Betts, and Turner. 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts. Fine.
I know. I'm just making.
Put him in the hall at that point.
Right. But listen, Blake Snell's a young guy. He's got a Cy Young to his credit already. You know, he's shown that he knows how to pitch. You know, I don't know why the leash wasn't even a little longer there. Maybe they were saving him for a back end game 7. Maybe. You never know. The only one who knows is Kevin Cash.
Yeah. I think he was just thinking, you know, we got these guys in the bullpen. And they are all about analytics and numbers.
You go with what got you there.
And the numbers probably said to take him out.
Well, since we're talking about pitching, can we talk about Julio Urias?
Yes.
Locking it down. A left-handed Roberto Ozuna, who's a little bit better.
He's still only, 24, right?
I think he's younger than that.
Turning 24? He's 23, turning 24.
Yeah, I mean...
Shoved. Remember how bad he was like 2 years ago?
Yeah. Yup.
Justin Turner only got one more at bat to that, by the way. Yeah, you want to talk about the pitching, but real quick, you know, we mentioned Justin Turner, and before we get to Urias, I wanted to touch on Justin Turner.
Why don't we just finish up on Urias? Since we're there.
Because that would make a lot of sense. That's why.
Why jump from something to a different topic back to the same topic from before?
He's doing gymnastics mentally.
Urias was Urias was locked down, man. He was locked down. You know, he was always supposed to be this. He was always supposed to be, you know, locked down, great, really good starter. He was a top prospect for a very long time. Came up at 19 years old. I actually saw his major league debut.
And there's a reason you come up at 19 years old. You're supposed to be that good. You're supposed to, you know, you have the stuff.
Yeah.
And he's kind of finally put it together. I think this whole year,
it's just putting it together exactly.
That it? We good?
I'm good on Urias.
Mike, I know you brought it up.
No, yeah, that's fine. That's all. I just wanted to acknowledge the man for his service.
All right. Now back to Justin Turner real quick. Not real quick.
Dude, what was going on there? Like, can you get any words out, Rob? Come on.
Like they say it's because he had the earpieces in where you hear your own, which I can understand. Having done radio, having done this, be able to hear my own voice in my head, it does fuck you up a little bit.
The playback will mess you up, especially if there's a slight delay.
Right, it fucks you up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy, you're notorious for having a little fuck up here, in terms of trying to say something and it not coming out right.
What?
He's talking shit.
Yeah, he's talking shit. What do you mean?
Bruh.
Name one time.
Twist the ankle.
Dude, I just twisted my fucking ankle. You know how bad that hurt? Let's twist your ankle. See if you could pronounce everything correctly. Deal?
I can.
All right.
My ankle hurts regardless, though.
No, I get to twist it with my hands.
No, that's not how this works.
All right, who cares? Rob Manfred did not have a stroke. Ken Rosenthal confirmed, which I thought was fucking hilarious that he tweeted that out. Just got in contact with Commissioner Manfred.
He's good.
He says everything's okay.
That's great.
Because I guess it was like blowing up on Twitter or something.
It was, yeah.
That's amazing.
So funny.
And then one other thing you wanted to talk about with the World Series, you said?
No, that was
the highlight of your World Series?
Yeah, him getting booed. That was the highlight of the World Series for me.
Yeah.
Seager deserved MVP.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's really it.
I mean, let's kind of go into Seager real quick. Does, you know, obviously we've seen him do it over the course of the 60-game season. Do you think he's going to win MVP?
No.
Do you think he has a shot?
No.
Because he did it very quietly. And he also kind of went through the playoffs doing it pretty quietly, too.
I think that he'll finish top 10.
All right. I don't think I don't disagree.
3, though. I don't think he's a finalist.
Well, the finals come out tonight, actually.
Do they? I know Freddie and Juan Soto are going to be
Oh, no
two of
doubt.
them. Who will be
No
number
doubt.
3 though?
You think Mike Yastrzemski gets a shot?
No.
All right.
I think it's a good shot that he lands top 10 though.
Yeah, he had a great year.
Oh shit! We should also talk about our
all MLB teams.
our
Yeah,
all MLB teams.
We'll get to that in a little bit, I guess.
We'll do it at the end.
Yeah. In other news.
Great news.
On-field news, but obviously great news for the three of us. The Savior has come. He is here. Steve Cohen has officially bought the Mets with no objection from Bill de Blasio after a shit ton of speculation where we were almost ready to destroy Bill de Blasio.
Yeah, fuck him.
We actually had a shirt. We had merch ready too. We had merch ready if he rejected. Approved by MLB owners. I don't know what the official vote number was. I don't think that ever came out.
I don't think so either.
I know Jerry Riesdorf had the only objection for sure.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see anything about anybody else.
Right.
Yeah, he was the only one that at least publicly came out.
So I wonder what the final. It was 29-1 or whatnot.
Yeah.
But he's here. He's back. It's glorious.
So.
It's real.
Is it that the Wilpons, what's it called? They vote too?
Yes.
Because they are the current holder.
Yep, it's currently the owners, so they have to vote an owner. Yeah.
Right. That's what I thought. I wasn't 100% sure though.
That's kind of weird. They
right?
shouldn't have a vote. A team that's getting sold shouldn't have a vote.
It should automatically be a yes. I mean, it usually is.
Yeah.
No, it should just be 29.
Exactly.
It should just be 29 teams that vote.
Can you imagine if the Wilpons said, actually, you know what? Never mind.
If this happened 6 months ago, then yeah, they probably would have said no.
Yeah. But yeah, it's glorious. Steve Cohen has arrived. He's on Twitter.
Not officially.
Hasn't closed the deal yet, but he expects to.
Yeah.
Working towards a quick close, as he says, because free agency's here, and I'm sure he wants to put a winning team on the field for 2021.
Yep.
Cool thing about Steve Cohen, he's got a Twitter account. He's asking Mets fans what he could do to make things better. I think that's fucking awesome. Find me another owner who does some shit like that.
I think my favorite part about that though is everyone's telling him what players to get. That's my favorite part.
It's either what players or they'll bring back the black jerseys.
Yeah, or
if he does that, yeah, we're good.
Or that one guy who said he was banned from Citi Field.
That was great.
And Steve Cohen goes, "That's awesome, man." Like, what? No, just unban me.
The statues and make it more of a Mets stadium, less homage to the Dodgers, and I saw a cool idea of Seaver pitching to Piazza.
As a statue? I like that.
That'd be cool. Right out front, they said.
The only problem is there's not much room.
Yeah. There's not
That's the biggest thing. There's not a lot of room for all this. It's not like we have a stadium district like some other ballparks do, like St. Louis has a stadium district.
It's like not like downtown Chicago where they have all that area. It's not like Wrigleyville.
Unless they just blow up the surrounding areas and make it a district, which is what they've been trying to do for years.
Yeah, those car lots, the car places, the garages, they're all gone except for one.
Yeah.
So.
And that one's not leaving. Let's be real.
The rest of them got bought out. The land got bought.
I mean, I can see this going in the same direction the Islanders are going. I know you guys are Islanders fans, and we're going to switch sports a little bit, but Ledecky, I think his name is, right? The owner of the Islanders.
Yes.
He's pretty much a fan. He acts like a fan. He operates a team like a fan.
He is a fan.
Yeah, he operates a team like a fan. And I think that's what we're going to see Steve Cohen do, and it's going to be great for New York sports having not just Ledecky doing it, but Cohen doing it as well.
Yeah.
And Mets and Islanders fans such as you guys are going to be loving it.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge for the city, the state, and mainly the city and Long Island. But
you need an owner who's going to buy in.
Yep.
That's the key. Ledecky bought in.
Right. And it looks like Cohen is all in right now with
100%.
Taking the Twitter, finding out what Mets fans want. I mean, let's see if I can pull it up real quick. I'll find the tweet. I know Tkachuk even replied to him real quick.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see that.
We'd love to have more access to the players and be able to interview them and have them on the show as guests. We'd also love to have Steve Cohen on as a guest. Gotta shoot your shot somehow, right?
Sure.
Here's the first one that comes up. During games with crazy rain delays or ridiculous amounts of extra innings, allow security to let fans that suck it out to move down to better seats. Also allow all fans behind the dugout for batting practice.
They've let me.
Yeah.
It's very hit or miss, I think, depending on what section you're in.
I've literally gone down to like behind the first.
Oh, I'm sure.
Rain out. Like rain delay.
Yeah. And then the other comment there on that tweet was retire number 5. Duh.
Well,
yeah, retire the numbers that are necessary. There's a bunch of them.
Then there's please get rid of the guy who dresses his dog up.
What? The dog with the
pipe, yeah.
Why?
Apparently,
I love seeing
somebody's
that
saying it's basically animal cruelty. Supposedly the dog wears a shock collar and all that stuff. There's some fucked up shit going on apparently there.
Shock collars are made to not hurt though. So
then we got winning the World Series every year would dramatically improve my Mets experience. Just saying. I would love to see the team pay better tribute to its history. How about bringing back Old Timers Day? Steve Cohen actually replied to that. No brainer to have Old Timers Day. Done.
Great.
We get to see some old Mets.
Love it.
Nice. Black jerseys. Hire smart people in every area. Yeah, okay.
Oh wow, that's really smart, guys.
Yeah. Steve Cohen, hire them smarter than you. That has worked for me in the hedge fund business. Lenny Dykstra replied, "Fire Ron Darling." This is an actual tweet.
Lenny hates Ron.
No way.
I just sent it to you guys.
Lenny hates him so much.
No way.
That's an actual tweet.
With Lenny Dykstra saying that Ron Darling was faking cancer last year. You remember that?
What the fuck? How about new ways for fans to save money, like food specials, value meals, $5 beers on certain days, buy one, get one ice cream. Help people save a little cash because it's expensive for a family to go to a game, which is true. It's getting pricey.
No, it's not. It's the Mets.
You know which one I saw?
Steve Cohen says we'll take a look at that. Obviously, people, players. Here's really the good one here. You've already done it by buying the team, Steve Cohen. Now we can do more than that. Love that. I think that encapsulates what we're getting in Steve Cohen.
Yeah.
I think that's really the hammer, in the coffin. This is it. This is what we're getting. Mm-hmm. This is an interesting one. I didn't see this. Let me know what you guys think of this too. This is the last one before we move on. Change the Jackie Robinson Rotunda to the Seaver Rotunda. No problem with Jackie, but this is the Mets and their fans, not the Dodgers. What do you think about that
one? It's weird. I don't know.
I don't. No.
You don't have to. Like, it doesn't make a difference.
That's one of those things where it's like, it's nice to see that, but at the same time, that could get also sticky in the current climate too.
Okay, relax, guys. No.
I was waiting to see your reaction to that.
No, we're not going. We're not going. No. Shush.
No.
Shush.
There it is.
Good. Shush.
Exactly what I wanted out of that.
No.
Anyway,
no.
But no.
So
my
thing is, Jackie Robinson is a baseball figure. These people are Mets fans, and I understand that, but it is cool for people of visiting teams to go there and see that. It is a big part of the culture of New York. The culture of baseball is Jackie Robinson. Now, do I think that we should have something for Seaver? Yes, and we will. We'll get a statue. We'll get, we have the street, the address is Seaver Way. There's the Seaver Gate, and there's a lot of Seaver. Can they do more? Yes, and I think that they will.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what he's gonna do too, because there's obviously so much you can do. But I don't think the
should be-
rotunda is one thing that's going to change.
I think that there should be more Mike Piazza involved as well. He's alive and he's still young. He just turned 50.
Yeah.
The
More
guy-
Mike Piazza, more
guy should be-
Edgardo Alfonso, even though Alfonso's heavily involved. John Franco, these guys who, 80s and 90s, these guys are still here.
Hall of Famer. You know what's one thing that I did see? Somebody said, as somebody that was born in 1982 or something like that, he was like, I have no emotional attachment to the 86 team. So can we stop riding that train? Can we...
Makes a lot of sense, yes.
We focus more on more current successes that everybody knows, that younger fans will know. And I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense because, with, how many, I'm sure, don't get me wrong, there are tons and tons of fans that, hold 86 near and dear. That was, the 80s were a fantastic team.
And that was our last title.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
86 was one of the best teams of all time. And, yeah, but I do agree. Hold back from it a little bit. Just
more Todd Zeal, more,
Mike Piazza,
Billy Wagner, these guys, yeah.
Carlos Beltran. I also saw another
Carlos
thing.
Delgado,
Loduca.
Amend broken relationships that the Wilpons did with the.
You bring back everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, the Wilpons fucked over numerous people.
Yeah. Amend relationships.
I mean, you saw what Syndergaard said too, right?
Yeah.
Something along the lines of finally able to have someone who looks like they're going to treat their players with respect and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
moving pieces. Yeah. I think that's going to be huge, especially for Syndergaard too. If he's happier here, I think we'll see a better version of him once he's healthy.
Yes. I think we're going to see a better version of all these players. I think that it's going to be a much better culture. I think it's going to be more of a winning culture. I think it's going to be a happier environment for a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
and a lot of these,
it was probably a lot of gloom and doom, especially for guys that were around for a long period of time.
Yeah, and especially with a lot of these younger guys too. They're coming up. This is their really they're getting a taste of Major League Ball. And if we establish a winning culture, not only will they bring that elsewhere when they do go elsewhere, if they do go elsewhere, but it'll help bring in guys. If guys like Pete Alonso, McNeil, Rosario are having fun playing at Citi Field, guys are going to want to come join them. And obviously, there's a huge offseason for baseball with a lot of top name guys, which we'll get to in a couple minutes. But that culture is going to be huge.
It's kind of like in 2005 when they signed Pedro, right? Pedro coming off a very good year, but now he's in his 30s. We know we're not getting the ace, but you're going to get a lot of Dominican players that are going to want to come to the Mets and play with the Mets.
Yeah,
strictly because Pedro was a Met.
And I think a big part of that was Reyes too.
I mean, he was
his second year. Second year.
Kind of help him through with as like I said, Dominican players kind of help surround Jose Reyes with familiarity as well.
Oh,
and do a lot of that.
Yeah, I thought me and Billy were on the same
you guys are on the same wavelength.
As if he was the drawing point.
Yeah. No. But just to help Jose get comfortable
I'm sure it helped having Delgado and Beltran were actually both Puerto Rican, but
I forgot
still Latin. I'm sure both of them are.
Look like he's Puerto Rican.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't seem like he would be.
Not to offend Max, I think, but Delgado's a little dark to be a stereotypical Puerto Rican.
But regardless, you're bringing in this Latin influence. It helped shift the culture too.
Yes, 100%, and that's what it did. A lot of people liked, like that, and we, the Mets, because there were no Marlins in the '80s, there were no Rays in the '80s. Florida, being that a lot of people moved from New York to Florida, the Mets and the Yankees were played down there televised.
Yeah, a lot of transplants. That's how A-Rod became a Mets fan.
Yeah, and in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, same thing. The Mets actually were the first team to televise down in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, Major League Baseball. So a lot of them are Mets fans down there.
Yeah, and I think that being said, these players who did play in the big leagues who did grow up Mets fans. They come back, they go back home and influence the younger generation. Say, I grew up watching the Mets and this and that, and the Mets were one of the first teams to really have an academy in the Dominican too. I think they were the first.
They were the first.
So, with a new culture from top to bottom, from the Major League club to these academies, it's going to be a huge boost to not only the Mets, to the National League East, to the National League, and to all of baseball. It's going to bring it because, and I've said this before, baseball is better in New York when both teams are good. The Yankees have that young core with Garcia, Schmidt coming up. If they re-sign DJ, that'd be huge. They have Judge, Severino. They have a lot of young pieces as well. Andujar, Frazier. They have a lot of key players. Gleyber. Thank you for reminding me, Gleyber.
Before you got murdered.
Sorry, Macca. Well, it's not usually the first one to remind me on that one. But these core pieces, along with the Mets, Alonso, Dom Smith, Conforto, and then whatever's coming, baseball in New York is going to be a big time. I see a big time boom soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the game is better when that happens.
Of course, 100%.
But I think we've definitely talked about Steve Cohen and his impact at length today.
Yep, appropriately.
And we did mention that this is a huge offseason. And the Mets did start out by offering qualifying offers, which is kind of a big deal because when you're looking at baseball this year, a lot of teams are cutting costs because of the pandemic. And
that's another thing Steve Cohen did. He raised everyone's salaries back up to normal.
Brought it back to pre-pandemic, which is awesome. Yep. And he's also, I think, donating $17.5 million to the community, which is really what de Blasio wanted. But
pretty much,
de Blasio.
It's a huge offseason. Cohen's going to spend because he didn't lose that X amount of money that these other owners did.
Yeah, that's true.
In addition to the fact that he's worth significantly more than them.
Yes, I mean the next closest guy is $10 billion less than him.
Yeah, and who is that? That's
net worth. Giants, right?
The Giants, or
He's the Giants owner. It's okay. We don't need to know.
But yeah, so he's gonna spend, offering a qualifying. The qualifying offer got up to 18.9 actually. I think it was 17.
It went up to 0.2. No, it was 18.2. The last time I saw. It used to be 18.2.
It's 18.9 right now this year.
Yeah, Charles B. Johnson, the San Francisco Giants owner, at $4.8 billion, which is exactly $10 billion less than Steve Cohen.
Yeah. So at 18.9, teams are gonna obviously not going to get as many qualifying offers as you do in years past. I know the A's had a couple guys that could have been a candidate, but obviously we're talking about the Oakland A's playing money ball as always, which is a shame because if they kept that core together, that's a good team that can get going for years.
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't
do one of them.
Yeah, more so Semien.
Yeah, so let me go through the ones that did, and then we'll go. Yeah, let's go through the ones that did real quick, and then we'll get into the ones who didn't. Players receiving a qualifying offer. The Reds offered got extended one to Trevor Bauer. The Yankees extended one to LeMahieu. That's obvious. The Phillies extended one to Realmuto, Astros, and George Springer. And the Mets offered a qualifying offer to Marcus Stroman. The one that kind of surprised you and me, at least, Billy, and I don't know about Mike, Kevin Gausman got a qualifying offer from the Giants as primarily a reliever.
Yep, interesting.
So that being said, obviously we mentioned Marcus Semien, who was an MVP finalist last year.
Yep.
He's going to be a free agent this year, and as is Liam Hendricks, who is a huge piece of that Oakland A's success. Those are two big pieces, two cornerstones of that success, actually. Neither of them got a qualifying offer. I understand Hendricks not getting one at 18.9. It's a little high for a closer, even if he is one of the best in the game. But I think Semien, you kind of had to offer that one, no? Because even if you go somewhere, you get the extra draft.
Maybe two of them, but Probably not.
If I'm Gaussman, I have to, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
You take it and work on the extension, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So who's the other one that you see, Billy? You said maybe two.
That might Stroman.
Interesting.
New ownership. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he would.
Yep. I think that when you have, I mean, let's be real. Everyone has to know that he's going to be spending money.
I could see DJ as well, and then working an extension off of it.
Yeah, that's possible too. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think Stroman actually might not because of the fact, because like you said,
I think it's 50-50 because Stroman sat out the year and his last time pitching was not really pretty.
And you know, as you said,
who's going to give him a long-term deal?
Right. And Steve Cohen's going to spend money too.
Especially standing at 5'2". You know, is he really going to be? Is he really going to be? You know, he's saying that he's going to be, you know, great going into his 30s, but he's always been cocky, very confident guy. So
I love that. I love that he's confident, and I hope he backs up. Don't get me wrong, I really do.
I hope he does too. I would like to take him back. Will it be for 18 million? Hell no. I can't really picture any teams giving him a long-term deal. I think that's a real gamble. I could see maybe 1 or 2 years, but
I could see him getting a 3-year deal somewhere.
Why? And for who?
Just because of the way that the culture is these days. These pitchers get 3 years for X amount.
Mm-hmm.
You get a team option after the second, and that's kind of how it is. You know, a 2-year and an option. I can see that happen for Stroman. Or I could even see him betting on himself and turning down the qualifying offer and taking a 1-year deal elsewhere. I could see him doing that.
No one would touch 18 million though.
Yes, but if he thinks he's worth more than that, I could see him going for it.
Why though?
Then accept the qualifying offer.
Yeah, exactly. The only reason that he would decline the qualifying offer is if he thinks that he could get a multi-year deal for probably a little bit less annually, but
more security. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the qualifying offer would be interesting.
Reason that I could see to decline the qualifying offer for him.
So the only no-brainer here is Gaussman.
Yeah, I think the rest decline. But like Mike said, maybe DJ. I agree with that.
If he's gonna just accept that and work.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which I think is a smart way to do it for him, especially because he got he was a 2 for 24.
Something like that.
So he's getting a raise.
Yeah.
And obviously the Yankees, if I'm the Yankees, it's stupid not to offer him a blank check, as Chris has been saying since the beginning of since the last 2 years, right?
Yeah. I mean the man's won, like, you know, he's won Silver Sluggers, he's won Gold Gloves.
He's won batting titles. I mean,
he's done everything.
He's done everything.
And the fact that it took him that long to get signed 2 years ago is incredible.
Yeah.
Definitely won't happen this year.
No.
But so yeah, and obviously the big names there are Springer, Realmuto, and Bauer. And I guess we can just jump into the top free agents here.
Sure.
I mean, we kind of came up with a list here: Bauer, Realmuto, LeMahieu, Springer, Marcus Semien, Liam Hendricks, Stroman, Marcell Ozuna, and Charlie Morton. You know, the Rays declined Morton's $15 million option because it's the Rays. It's the same situation as the A's. They're playing Moneyball. I feel like you kind of had to do that if you're the Rays.
Yeah.
Try and bring him back on a cheaper deal.
Yeah.
So let's start with Trevor Bauer because that's really where all the talk has been. What are you guys thinking?
We using the boards for this one?
What kind of deal? What kind of deal are you thinking for Bauer?
We could do that.
We could do that. We could do it on the board.
Throw it on. Just put the number under.
Yep. So we'll go player by player and where we think they're gonna go and what they're gonna get.
Yep. So Bauer.
All right, ready?
Go.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, who you got? What do you got? Okay.
Angels 5 years, 30 a year.
All right, Billy.
Angels, 7 years, average annual value of $24 million.
I got the Reds spending a little money at five for 200.
Him staying.
And
I could see him staying.
read off Macca's.
What did Macca say? He had Bauer to the Angels. He didn't give us a number.
Well, yeah, we didn't ask for the number. We kind of just asked the team.
Yeah. Why do you guys think the Angels?
They need.
Obviously, the three of you all think the Angels.
They need pitching. They have money. Major market. They have to spend.
Sorry, I had to get a paper towel.
Yeah, so did I.
He's a West Coast guy.
Yeah.
Angels need pitching. I think that he will probably succeed better in the AL long term.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. I just feel like he's more of an AL pitcher. I don't really care for him in the NL. He has been good with the Reds, but I don't think that he would succeed in the East at all, either AL East or NL East. I think the hitting is way too strong here for him. And to be on the same team as Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon and, so on and so forth. Yeah, I think I think that's the best place for him, honestly.
Mike?
Same reasons, pretty much. I don't know. The Angels have the money. They need starting pitching. Julio Teheran is not going to cut it as a top-line starter.
Not anymore, at least. He's not playing the Mets, so.
Well, yeah, I was going to say only against the Mets, right?
Yeah, this isn't really 2010, sorry.
All right, next up is going to be JT Realmuto. Got off the qualifying offers with the Phillies. He's an interesting one because there's been a lot of linking him to the Mets, but he's also said he doesn't want to play in New York.
Yep.
I don't know if he gave a reason or not, but fuck you, JT Realmuto. Come on.
Does not like New York. He does not like the
fans or the city?
No, just like the big, big city. Yeah, something.
And some guys can't
hack
hack it like that. That's fine.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I'm glad that he admitted it before we got him.
Right. Before we got him, I think Billy knows where JT is going.
All right, JT Realmuto. Give me a second.
And then next up, we'll go with DJ LeMahieu. I already got mine. So JT Realmuto.
All right, show it, Max.
I got him going, staying with the Phillies, 6 for 23, 6 years at 23 annually. I think some team's gonna give him what he thinks he's worth. I think the Phillies would be foolish to let him go.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, you paid a hefty price for him too.
Yeah.
You have to keep him.
Yeah.
And I don't see, obviously, with him saying he doesn't want to go to New York, I don't see much of a market elsewhere.
Yeah. I think the one problem with the Phillies though is their already tremendous payroll.
Yes.
Along with that, it's going to only increase from here. Bryce Harper's gets bigger as we go on, and
they're going to need some pitching.
They need, well, they got Wheeler and Nola. They're going to have to lock up Nola though.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all they have is those two.
Well, Arrieta comes off the books this year, right?
Arrieta sucks, but yeah.
But yeah, that was a rather large deal that kind of hurt them.
He's retiring. He's gotta. All right, so here's mine.
Yeah, turn off your blur, jeez.
Yeah,
Phillies,
blur.
Yeah, completely. I mean, what did I read? Phillies 8. What was it?
8 for 27.
All right.
Realmuto, Phillies 8 for 27. Ooh. Ooh.
Really? Now, Mike, let me ask you this, because they just signed Darno to a 3-year deal?
I forgot Darno was there. I don't know why I did that.
So did I.
Try to forget. We try to forget the bad times. Yeah. No, that's wrong. In my head, I don't know why. I was like, oh yeah, they have Tyler Flowers as their starter. Like, yeah, that guy. No. Yeah. I feel I don't know why in my head I'm thinking Seattle
Interesting.
to get like a stud East around all that youth.
I think Seattle should focus more on the pitching aspect because they have
No,
a lot
I
of
know.
offense ready to
They don't have
go.
a catcher. Didn't they just trade?
They traded Nola, yeah.
They just traded Nola. They don't have a catcher.
They have Austin Hedges, right? Or did he go to Cleveland?
It was Cleveland.
That's Cleveland.
Well,
Macca says Realmuto stays with the Phillies.
yeah, I mean that's probably the best option.
Yeah. Do we really want to write down DJ LeMahieu? We all kind of have the
He's
same.
staying.
He's
Yeah.
staying as a Yankee. They're giving him a blank check. I think that's really kind of the most obvious move of the offseason, really. Now, here's the interesting one. George Springer. Tied to the cheating scandal. What team's going to want to bring him in? At what price? It's going to be he's going to be, I think, my player to watch this offseason in terms of what he gets.
Yeah.
So, let's take the boards. Let's see what we got. And just so everybody knows, Macca says he is going to the Mets. Mike, I just saw you shaking your head a little bit.
Yeah.
I understand that, which is why I kind of have Springer to the Mets at 5 years, 22 annually. Steve Cohen's going to want to make a splash right off the bat, I think. And outside of really Stroman locking up Syndergaard, stuff like that, locking up Conforto, Springer's going to be the probably the easiest one to do. Went to school at UConn. The Mets need a center fielder. I think Springer to the Mets kind of fits. And it's going to be Steve Cohen's way of saying we're here to play. Mike, what do you got?
I have him staying.
Houston 5 by 25.
Yeah, but maybe more. I don't know. But I have him staying.
Why?
Why? I mean, realistically, they have everything they need. They just need better pitching, and they're still a competitive team.
Okay.
Like, yeah, we get the new Northeast routes. I got it.
Mets at 5 by 23. Yeah, so Billy and I are kind of on the same page here.
What did you say?
5 by 22.
Oh, yeah. I had 22 at first, but then I was like, I think he'll get a little bit more annually.
I think. Why do you think so? At least, let's hear.
Why do I think so?
Yeah.
He's a multi-dimensional player. He's not a one-sided guy. He can play very good defense. He's got a good arm. He's got power. He's got speed. He's just doesn't really make the most consistent contact. But if he did, I mean, we're talking about one of the best players in the game, probably.
Yeah, no doubt.
The one downside, and why I don't really want him to go to the Mets, is he is now in his 30s. And
is he really? I thought he was late 20s.
He's 31.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's born in 89. So I'm a little bit weary of him breaking down.
Yeah.
And notoriously Mets getting people in their 30s has not worked out too great usually, besides Curtis Granderson. So I don't really care for him all that much. I'll be satisfied for a short-term thing if if he does
20
yeah,
million a year.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be perfect in my opinion.
There it is. There's the light.
Yeah. I don't I don't really care for him either way. I don't care whether we get him or not. I do think that it would be beneficial to get a legit center fielder that could actually field, though, while Jacob deGrom is still Jacob deGrom.
Yes.
That would definitely help.
Yep.
Next up is going to be Marcus Semien. And he's an interesting one because obviously he was an MVP finalist a year ago. He's an incredible shortstop. I will admit that. You can't deny that. But the question then becomes, what market is there for shortstops right now? Who needs it? Who's contending? And stuff like that. So it's kind of a very interesting one. I kind of have two landing spots for him. And I'll go with the one I think is most likely, but I could see a kind of a wild card one.
Mm-hmm.
I have Semien going back, staying in Oakland at 4 for 20. I think they're going to spend money on him because, as you said earlier, Billy, he's an everyday player. Really, that core with him, Chapman, and Olsen, they got to keep that together.
Mm.
I think my wild card landing spot for him, the Phillies, with Didi being off the books this year. I think they might bring him back, but listen, that team has been known to spend even though, as you said, their payroll's going up. That what they've gotten out of what they have, it hasn't been enough. The Dodgers have such a deep lineup; they won the World Series this year. I think the Phillies are going to look at that and say, you know what, we got to get deeper in offensively, and Marcus Semien can help.
Nah, they don't need him though.
Like I said, wild card landing spot there.
Yeah, I guess, but who are you gonna sit on that team is my thing. You got Ballm at third, Segura at short. You play Kingery at second.
Oh, I forgot they have Segura. Fuck, completely forgot about
that. That's in my head. I was like, Segura's still there.
Right,
Like,
I completely forgot. I forgot about him. Yeah,
How
we
old
moved
is
him to second.
How old is Semien?
Kingery.
29?
Yeah,
Kingery's gonna play second.
Kingery's a bum.
I think we found another player that Max hates.
Mike, what do you got?
He's staying on the West Coast.
Angels at 5/19.
Angels 5/19. If they let Simmons go, they need a shortstop.
Do you think those two teams end up swapping shortstops at this point?
I could see it.
With Simmons being a free agent, he can probably take a cheaper deal.
Make that infield the best defensive infield in
Yeah.
of baseball.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you got, Bill?
Hopefully the brightness helped a
Angels.
little bit.
Angels or
Milwaukee. I was thinking about Milwaukee as well.
6 at 20.
6/20. I had 5/9.
Yeah, Milwaukee needs it. I know Arcia just had a very good, very, very good year, actually. And they traded for, what's his name? Urias. Luis Urias.
Yep.
But I think that Luis Urias does not profile as an everyday major league player. I think that they need another solid bat there in that lineup to help out Yelich. And yeah, I think that Milwaukee is a great landing spot for him. And just rewind a little bit to listen to Mike's explanation for the Angels, and that's the exact same explanation as I have.
Next up is gonna be Liam Hendriks. Obviously, we're going back, sticking with the A's here real quick. Hendricks has been one of the best relievers in baseball the past couple of years. He's filthy. He is so nasty. But I think he's 31?
Something like that. Right around 30. Maybe 32.
So, yeah. So he's obviously getting up there in age, but, he doesn't seem to be slowing down one bit. I have him changing coasts real quick.
Okay.
I'm going to Washington. 3 years, $12 million annually. Obviously, he's not going to get a big deal, only because he is only pitching one inning a game. closers aren't going to get that big deals, you're also looking at his age. He's performed in a small market. Washington's a little bigger than Oakland. You're going to take a chance on him. I don't know. I don't think we'll get the big deal we're looking at. But I think Washington's going to look to add to that bullpen because that's been pretty much something that's been hurting them the past couple of years. Yes, they won a World Series, but we looked at that bullpen at the beginning of the year. That was brutal. Sean Doolittle coming off the books. You got an opening there. I can see Hendricks maybe taking a chance there. I'm taking a chance on him too. A little unorthodox, I know. We also haven't talked about him much. There's not much speculation on where he's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a reliever, so it's a crapshoot regardless. But
Exactly. What do you got, Mike?
give me 2 seconds after review something real quick. Never mind. There goes my answer. I had the Cubs in my head. I forgot that Kimbrel's there.
Trust me, that they were in my head too.
Just
Them and the White Sox were in my head.
Garbage.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. Billy, you ready?
I am.
Let's see what you got. Well, Mike, thanks. Hendricks to Toronto. Okay.
I thought about that too. Yeah. I was
4 at
thinking
11 annually. Okay.
I disagree with your reasoning for the price because if you've looked at the history of the reliever over the past 5 years, those guys have been cashing in because of how valuable they are nowadays.
Very true.
He already pitched with Toronto, so
He did. You're right.
yes, he did. He has familiarity. Toronto made the playoffs. They are a very good young and up and coming team. To get a lockdown closer, a lockdown bullpen piece will be huge for them.
And they've made
With
moves.
Ken Giles leaving.
Yeah, they've made moves in a shortened season to get these key pieces. And granted, they were rentals, but they made moves to go for it. Last offseason, they brought in Ryu, a move that signaled they're ready to go for it. I see them having a busy offseason this year too. I really do. I think there's a couple pieces they might be able to bring in. But solidifying that bullpen has to be number one, and you're right. Hendricks would be a huge addition to that bullpen. Mike, what do you got? Take a pitch. Got it. Nope. Other way.
you can't say. I couldn't anyway.
Cards 3 and 11.
My numbers right there off, but Cardinals to just lock that down. Like their bullpen's already good. But you get that lockdown. You slide Trevor Rosenthal up. You slide Gallegos up.
Now, Trevor Rosenthal is a free agent, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I doubt they might resign him.
By the way, real quick,
Hicks.
Macca said Simeon goes back to Oakland.
Yes.
I'll try to. Yep.
But Jordan Hicks,
Yeah.
he'll be back from TJ. He already was going to be
He opted
this
out this
year.
year because diabetic.
So
They could have used him though. They really could.
yes, they definitely could have. So who do you have as your closer, Hicks or Hendricks?
I'd have Hendricks as the closer.
I think it's the best back end of the bullpen though. Jeez,
That-
I would not want to
Sign
have.
that.
I would not want to be down.
Dude, you get them, and you have Gallegos. You still have Alex Reyes. You still have, if they re-sign Rosenthal to a cheap deal.
John Gant was there. He had a good couple years.
Yeah, you just have guys who shot.
Former Met.
Yep.
Macca says Hendricks to the Braves. Braves have pretty much been working on their bullpen the last 3 years, trying to figure out some sort of combination. I can see it. I don't want it to happen, obviously, as a Mets fan, but I can see it happening. So we four different guesses.
Where did you
here.
say?
He said the Braves.
How many
Next
more
up is-
relievers do the Braves need?
Well, they're trying to figure it out. That's what I was saying.
How many more ex-closers do they need?
Next up is Marcus Stroman. Macca has him going to the Dodgers. Macca's got to jump on here soon to explain these because I would love to know his reasoning behind that. I would love to know why he thinks Hendricks to the Braves. Some interesting stuff here. Obviously, the kid's got school, so can't shit on him too much. Bill, you got it?
Yep.
What do you got? The Mets 2-year at what?
13.
13?
15. Sorry.
It looked like a 3.
2 at 15. Okay.
Yeah, use the fat side of the marker.
I have 3 at 15 with the Mets.
Oh, look at that.
Mike, what do you got? Toronto at 2 at 15.
Ooh.
Player option. All right. So we're all in the
Ooh.
same range on Stroman's price.
Price, yeah. That's
You know, and I was thinking Toronto too. I really was, because we mentioned, you know, they're ready to go for it. And Stroman's been there. Now, the only
I was
thing with
thinking it too, but I
the only thing
backed
with
out on
him is that Randall Grichuk is still there, and there was that beef last year. Also, you know, they moved on from him, and now listen, they re-signed him. Talk about winning a fucking trade. That's like the 𝒂𝒅𝒄𝒂𝒅 trade.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have K, Woods, Richardson, and Stroman.
I mean, K is
within a year or two.
K is he's not as good as he was projected.
he's gonna be a reliever.
Right, but again, they have all 3 of those guys pitching.
Yeah.
You're not going to see Richardson
Sorry, we
for another
finessed
3 years.
them on the R.A. Dickey trade.
Right, we completely fleeced them.
Yes, we did.
Good lord. So, and Macca has one of the Dodgers. So, why do you think Toronto, though, Mike?
Just because he has the relationship with them, and if he does it for like a prove-it deal, they need the starting pitching. Like, their back end was kind of garbage to end the year. Who was it? Thornton? Like, these aren't guys you want starting baseball games in a 162.
It's very true.
Like, on that team, he'd be the 3 or the 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wouldn't have a lot of pressure on him either.
True.
He goes to the Mets, what is he going to be, the 3? The 2, the 3? It depending on when Syndergaard comes back?
Yeah, and if they decide to keep Mats.
Well, I think Mats would be behind him in the rotation.
And then Peterson as well.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Marcell Ozuna's next. Macca has him staying with the Braves. We have one more after Ozuna. I got him staying with the Braves too. I got him getting a long-term deal. He finally found a home. I hate it because he just torches baseballs. $4.21 a year. You know, I don't see him leaving the Braves. I just don't see it happening. Granted, we're looking at an uncertain year for the DH, but you know he's capable of playing outfield. He's got a cannon for an arm. I just think it's a good fit right there.
Okay.
What do you got?
I don't have anything yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, right? Like it's such an interesting predicament for him.
Exactly. He's an interesting guy because of the DH not staying in the NL.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I'm gonna go with this.
Watch Billy send him to Toronto.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting though. Or Buffalo. Sorry, Buffalo. As long as COVID's still going on, we don't know where they're playing. Still thinking, Mike?
Kinda. Like, I don't know.
By the way, we dropped our Veterans Day merch.
Yes, sir.
Get out.
Oh, well, first time you're lagging.
Yeah.
And now you're frozen.
Took me a while. Billy, what you got?
Tigers.
Ozuna too. Tigers at 6 by 17-3. Very
75.
interesting. Oh, 5. Listen, it's blurry every time. Turn off the fucking blur, dude.
I can't. You can't while
Why
recording,
not?
apparently.
Really?
Yeah, it's not working.
Oh shit.
Oh, this is what I have.
Ooh,
Because how long are you gonna play Justin Upton for?
that's true. I think is
So
next year
Mike
his
has
last
the
year.
Angels spending a ton of money.
I know.
They always do, though.
Maybe they'll finally get somebody that'll actually work. Like
They-
Justin Upton can't play the field. At least
Yeah.
he's a little bit better than Upton in the field. He's better hitter. Like here we go. I'm looking it up.
Mhm.
Uh,
He's a younger Justin Upton, in my opinion. They're
A little
profiles,
chunkier.
similar players, and he's only 4 years younger than Justin Upton. Actually.
yeah. This is Upton's last season.
Yeah, it is, right?
Oh no, sorry. He's got one more year after this at 28.
Mm.
So
It's crazy
good.
to me. Justin Upton is still only 33 years old.
Came up at like 18.
Insane.
Yeah, seriously. Yep, came up in 19. Insane. So, yeah, I picked the Tigers.
Tigers, who hired AJ Hinch. We'll go over that in a little bit, though. We have a couple managers to touch on. Charlie Morton's our last guy. The Rays declined his $15 million option. I think at 35 years old, he's kind of just chasing a ring real quick, even though he's got one with the Astros. I think he wants one more. So I have him going back to the Rays at a cheaper deal, 3 at 10 annually. I know the Rays don't spend money often, but when you're looking at Charlie Morton, you're looking at his ability to pitch in big games. It's a guy they gotta have, especially considering Snell and Glass now are the only other 2 legit starters they have, without much promise down in the minors, as far as I know of.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have no choice but to bring him back.
Okay.
What do you guys got?
Mike, you want to go? You want me to go?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Braves.
I like
Yep.
that.
Or
I can see that.
And I just have him retiring.
Yeah, I have the retirement or the break.
I'm the only one who hasn't making a pass this year.
No, I had both. It was one or the other.
No, you had one. You had a 1-year deal. I gave him a 3-year.
Oh, I was just kind of doing it as a year basis. Like I'll just jump around.
I think he's at that point too. Yeah.
Max, what'd you give him?
3 at 10 annually.
I don't.
God.
I think he'll take a discount to stay with the Rays because he knows that's his best chance.
Are we doing any more?
If you could think of any more, we could do a couple more.
Gregorius is the only name that pops out to me.
Even then, he's a crapshoot.
It's either
I mean-
like Oakland, Milwaukee,
L.A.
LA. But
Anderson
that's-
Simmons.
Angels.
Yeah, Anderson Simmons, same thing.
Yeah, it's all generally the same area.
And Mike, you had said something to us before we actually started recording, and we'll do this one. James McCann,
Oh yes.
the second best catcher on the market, and behind Realmuto. He's gonna be an interesting guy to watch. You said, Mike, right?
Uh-huh.
Why?
Well, whoever doesn't get Realmuto, he is the best option besides that. He's just really good. He's like a really good all-around catcher. And there's not a lot of good catchers available at all in baseball. The Mets didn't keep 2 of the catchers.
Well,
Like,
you read my mind, Mike.
yep, I had the Mets at, yeah.
At 4 at 17 annually, you read my
Yeah.
mind there. I think that's
Mets.
really, yeah.
I agree.
You
Wait,
know,
I-
4 at what?
17 annually.
I could see him 4 at 12.
Yeah, I would go a little
I could see
lower. Thinking like
them
14.
overpaying a little bit.
A little.
But
If that's what you consider a little, sign me up.
Yeah, but,
we use the whiteboards a little bit at the end real quick. Let's talk real quick about the managers. Tony La Russa.
Yep.
There's a lot of blowback there.
I really hope the way that you're coming through right now is in the recording.
Why?
Because you're like all pixely. Half your face is fucked up.
that's normal.
Right. But no, Tony La Russa. What is it, 3-year deal, 4-year deal?
In that general area.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
With the White Sox, a team he managed before.
Yep.
There's a lot of critics to this one.
Yep.
Mostly the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yep.
They did not like that one. Don't understand why, but they generally think, when a guy's retired, he's done, no chance. That way they don't have to update the plaque or whatever the reasoning is.
Man.
It's ridiculous.
Oh no.
So much effort right there.
So hard.
Right, I know. It's ridiculous.
Joke.
Do you think his old school managerial style is gonna be good for the White Sox?
Yes.
Yes, it'll keep them in line.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the biggest thing everybody was talking about is that
They are a team ready to win, and there's nobody alive that wins more and wins better than Tony La Russa. He knows baseball.
Yeah, he's a lifer too. He's a baseball
lifer.
Yeah. And then the other manager that was hired, AJ Hinch, got his job back. Got a job again, going to the Tigers.
Yep.
I think that's a great guy to lead that rebuild.
Which is a big reason why I picked Ozuna to go there, by the way.
You go from Ron Gardenhire to the fucking AJ Hinch. Boy, oh boy. Casey Mize is a lucky guy.
They've got what it seems to be a pretty good team coming up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, it's a job where there's not a lot of pressure, so that he's able to kind of succeed and put that cheating scandal behind him.
Mm-hmm. Still don't think that he has anything to do with it either.
No, not at all. But
I don't think that.
Yeah, but again, he was part of it and he served his time, and that's what Rosenthal reported was the consensus around baseball, that he and Luna kind of and Cora even too, kind of served their time. And
so now let me ask you this: do you think that Alex Cora should get a job?
I think at the end of the day, you're trying to do what's best for your ball club, and if Alex Cora being your manager is what's best for your ball club, I feel like you have to do it.
So if the Mets were to sign Alex Cora to be their manager, you'd be happy.
I wouldn't be happy, but I'd understand it, because at the end of the day, you want the best guy for the job. And if that's Cora, that's Cora.
Okay. I personally don't think that he should ever be a manager again, but
I understand.
Just because he played quite a big role, so.
Yeah, he and Beltran apparently, supposedly.
Beltran was a player.
And I hate that he got punished. I hate that he got punished.
Sure enough, but.
Mike, what are your thoughts?
Say that again? Sorry, I spaced out. Ignore what I said. Just ignore me for this.
All right, ignoring Mike.
So, anything else on the managers?
No, I really think there's not too much there.
I do have a question for both of you.
What you got?
Do you think that Brodie Van Wagenen stays?
Mike, you want to take this one first?
I think he stays at least for a year. At least he gets at least a year.
He gets the rest of his contract.
How long is his contract? This year, next year?
Yeah.
I think he just gets the contract. Because we don't know, even though Steve didn't bring him in, you don't know what their relationship will be like. You don't know how they're going to work together. So he'll probably see it out, and if it works well, extend them. If not,
right.
See what happens.
I can see what Mike's talking about. Also, you got to remember, Brodie was working with a very tight budget with the Wilpons. So he didn't really have the freedom to kind of go after the guys he wanted. He kind of went on some okay, not that he wanted, that he should have gotten. Sorry, because he wanted Jed Lowry, he got Jed Lowry, we got Dead Lowry. Anyway,
but he traded for Cano,
right?
Who's making about $25 million, right?
Right, and that the big piece of that deal was Diaz on a cheap deal, and that was the big piece. And you know what? Cano had a good year, bounce back year. Diaz had a good bounce back year. So I think
both had fantastic years.
I think at this point right now it Yes, like I said, I think right now at this point, we were very harsh on him after a rough first year for both guys, rightfully so, especially with Kelenic being on that superstar track he is. But now that both these guys had bounce back years, I think we're kind of at mixed reviews. I think Brodie gets to feel out his contract. working under Sandy Alderson. Because you got to remember, Brody wasn't working under any baseball minds. Brody was kind of just thrown into the job, do his thing. Now he's got a baseball lifer in Sandy Alderson, who was the architect of the 2015 Mets, and Brody can kind of lean on him. I don't think Brody thinks he knows what he's doing. I think he's got an idea. I don't think he will say outright, I have a firm grasp on what I'm doing in this job. He's only 2 years in. I think having Alderson there to kind of lean on, should anything happen, obviously now with a bigger budget, it's going to be a little different for both guys.
Mm-hmm.
Alderson, going from Oakland to the Wilpons type budgets, both these guys have a little more money to spend. So it'll be interesting to see how that duo works together. I mean, with a bigger budget. I think he gets the rest of the contract, and then remains to be seen, because if the Mets don't make the playoffs next year, I think Brody's gone. If they do make the playoffs, I think we're looking at a tougher situation.
Okay.
Sounds right to me.
You want to talk about all MLB teams? We'll throw up our picks real quick.
Sure.
Shit, I gotta pull mine up. I don't remember.
I can send it, Mike.
No, I have it. I have it in my photos still. I didn't delete it.
Billy, do you want to read off Macca's first or no?
So let's just go position by position.
On who we each had, right?
Yeah. So catcher.
I had 𝒂𝒂𝒅𝒊𝒏𝒈. He had a great year bouncing back from Tommy John.
I had
Same.
Travis d'Arnaud, and you all had 𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈.
Macca had 𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈 too?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think that both are the right choice, really. I just think that d'Arnaud coming off of being, let go, DFA'd, and then he picks up with Tampa and he becomes this different player, and then he just skyrockets into what we were supposed to have with the Mets.
Yep.
With the Braves. I think he had a fantastic year. I think he deserves it. All right. First base was unanimous. We all had Freddie Freeman, and I don't think that anybody else was even close.
Was second base unanimous too?
Second base was unanimous. Yep. And third base was the difference. Me, Mike, and Macca had Jose Ramirez. Max, you had Manny Machado.
Mm-hmm.
Please explain.
Machado had a great year. Obviously, a lot of the focus was on Tatis Jr. because he's the flashier of the two. Machado kind of played to the contract he got this year. He finally showed that this is the player that the Padres are getting, and it showed because he helped lead them to the playoffs, and he really had a huge bounce back year. And I think he's going to get some MVP votes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that he's definitely, it's one of the two. It's either Ramirez or Machado. Shortstop. That was split. Me and Mike picked Fernando Tatis, and you and Macca picked Corey Seager.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said at length earlier, Seager had a great year, was very quiet about it.
So my problem with picking Seager, he hits, and he has a good arm.
That's pretty much it.
And that's it.
I get
He can't
that.
run.
I get that.
He could barely field his position. He has no range. He's like fucking 6'10" out there at shortstop.
That's the main reason why I picked *𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈 for the catcher spot.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're getting a lockdown catcher as well as he was putting up like almost 300.
Yeah.
Now, how you want to do with the outfields real quick?
Fernando Tatis is like the first 5-tool shortstop, true 5-tool shortstop since A-Rod. So. And
I was debating between the two of those, but I felt Corey Seager definitely had a better year offensively, and I think when we look at the game right now, it's an offensive game.
And this is where it differentiated a little bit. Max, you can read off your three outfielders if you want.
Okay. So my three outfielders were, I had Juan Soto, Mike Yastrzemski, and Michael Conforto. Conforto obviously had a great year. I mean, as we as Mets fans know that.
Yeah.
Kind of just showed what he's become.
Yeah.
He had a breakout year, and on top of all the power, we showed he hits for contact. Mike Yastrzemski, I became a big fan of him this year.
Mhm.
You know, the guy looks like an all-star.
Mhm.
So I think he deserved it. And then Juan Soto, obviously, as you said earlier, could be the MVP this year.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of unfair that he is that young and that good.
Mike?
Mookie, Trout, and Yaz.
Mookie and Trout are self-explanatory. Why Yaz?
His year, he pretty much carried that team. Like, they were in the playoff hunt deep into September.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, his numbers, especially being the guy where, like, you're gonna get attacked because you don't have a lot of protection. Still put up over 300.
Right. There was no Posey to protect him this year
like
either.
45 RBIs, something like that.
Yeah.
Had put up good numbers, and he
Yep.
played some defense as well, especially in that ballpark.
All right.
Let me read off Macca real quick.
Okay.
Macca had Soto, Trout, and Betts.
Which self-explanatory.
Yeah.
I had Juan Soto, Mookie Betts, and Michael Conforto. Michael Conforto showed to me that he is an all-star. He's a leader. He beat the shift. Finally.
Yeah.
He might be the first player to do it. I mean, how many times? I think he had the most opposite field hits as a lefty this year, with the shift on him. And yeah. DH was gone.
No, I think you see the difference. Obviously, you guys chose the guys who deserve it 100%, and don't get me wrong, all these guys do deserve it. But you'll notice with my voting, as has been the case last year as well, I kind of vote for the guys who won't get the obvious votes, who won't get the credit they deserve.
Oh.
Such as Yastrzemski, Conforto. I didn't pick Betts or Trout and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, I like to give the guys the credit they deserve, as opposed to
DH was universal. We all picked Marcell Ozuna.
What a year he had.
And then pitchers, they jumped around a little bit. Max, read off yours.
All right, I have
yours is the most interesting.
Yeah. Jacob deGrom, Dinelson Lamet, Garrett Cole, Max Fried. No, I froze. Fuck. All right. Let me read that again. DeGrom, Dinelson Lamet, Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Chris Bassett. Obviously DeGrom, a lock. Lamet had a fantastic year. Just as, really their ace out in San Diego. That was a guy who really carried that pitching staff. Garrett Cole obviously had a good year with the Yanks. Didn't have a great year. Offensive teams. Max Fried, I think he went like 7-0, right? Max Fried went 7-0 in the regular season with like a 1-something ERA. He shut down the East, which was one of the best offensive. I think it was the best offensive division in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chris Bassett had a 2-something ERA, and I like Chris Bassett a lot. I think being on that A's team, he's not going to get the coverage he deserves. He's not going to get the credit he deserves, but he did a fantastic job this year. Manaea wasn't great. Puck wasn't really there. Luzardo was very hit and miss. Bassett was really the anchor of that rotation. And again, pitching gets you to the playoffs for sure.
Didn't he only pitch in like 5 or 6 games though?
Well, he pitched in like 8 or 9.
Okay.
9.
Maybe
way,
right. Maybe right.
Regardless, he was.
Yes, he was very good. I'm just saying.
Yeah, a big piece of that rotation.
All right.
Are we gonna let it slide that he left both Cy Youngs off of his All MLB team?
So
there it is.
So there we go. So Mike, give your rundown.
For what I had
your 5.
Shit, my phone's locked. Give me a second. DeGrom, Bauer, Bieber, Darvish, and Fried. All pretty self-explanatory. Trevor Bauer and Bieber are going to win the MVP. The Cy Young.
Mm-hmm.
Darvish and DeGrom and Bauer were the three-headed monster going into it, into the
So-
NL Cy Young. And Fried was in that conversation as well.
Mm-hmm. So I actually, I believe I know why Max didn't put them on his All MLB team, and
They
it's
sucked in the playoffs and they pitched in the Central.
yes,
Well, you're half right. Yeah.
because they pitched in the Central, and if you go by the numbers, they actually faced combined. They faced the what was it? 5 of the 7 worst
Yeah.
offenses
Yeah.
in all
Uh,
but 2 for Bieber and 3 for Bieber, 2 for Bauer, and the best team that each of them pitched
Matt
against.
Darvish too was.
Was the Twins?
Yeah. And yeah, exactly, and
Yeah.
they were like 10th best offense
Yeah. So
statistically.
don't get me wrong, they had great years. Yes. They're gonna get the All MLB nods. They're gonna get Cy Youngs. Yes. You know, but at the end of the day, you're looking at the level of competition,
Mhm.
and Jacob DeGrom and Billy and I talked about this the other day. DeGrom faced the Marlins 4 straight starts in a matter of what, like 20 days?
Not even.
Right. You know, whenever that happens, first off, you're going to get knocked around. The fact that he held him to what, 4 runs total in that
Marlins were a playoff team.
Yeah, Marlins were a
that's
very good team.
Marlins were a playoff team. They were a very sneaky hitting team.
Mhm.
And he faced a team. Yes, they're in the division, so you know we're going to see them a lot. But 4 straight
4
starts,
times
it's
in a row.
unheard of.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, and to do what he's done with very limited offense, Jacob DeGrom, obviously he got the nod for all of us.
Mhm.
But yeah, you know, the East as a whole, as I said earlier, was the best hitting division. Yeah, between the AL and the NL, the Central was just incredibly weak. So when you
Macca
look at
had the
all of
same
yeah,
as Mike, just the one flip flop, Fried and Cole.
Yeah.
And then I had DeGrom, to Nelson Lamet, Garrett Cole, Shane Bieber, and Trevor Bauer. In
Yeah.
that order, by the way,
Yeah.
for me.
I think Lamet doesn't get the credit he deserved because he had a great year.
Yeah, I think the injury at the end of the season
It definitely hurt him.
hurts him a little bit, but I think they're all kind
Yeah,
of
he
self-explanatory.
would have been my 6th.
I think Bieber and Bauer deserve the All MLB nods for what they did. I would not give them my Cy Young vote, but
No, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't either. But
Yeah,
we had this discussion a couple episodes
Yeah.
ago.
And then the relievers.
All right. And I think we all pretty much agreed on them.
Nope. Chris
There
decided to be an
you
ass.
and me had the same.
Yes.
Yeah, Chris just hates the
Hates the Rays.
Rays, so that's
So we all
why he
had
picked.
we all had Nick Anderson.
Yeah, we all had Nick Anderson, and you picked Brad Hand.
16
Who-
saves in a
who got
60-game season.
Yeah, that's right. He got cut.
He did. 16 saves in the season, sub 1 WHIP, like a 1.3, like a sub 1.5 ERA.
Mhm.
It's fucking tough to do in 60 games.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, me and Max kind of picked the cop out guys, the guys that were the
I
only
don't
two
think
that. Relax. Not cop out. We just picked the two guys.
Obvious answers.
Yeah, that gave up the least runs. Devin Williams was far and away the best reliever in my opinion, and that's it. I'm done.
As a rookie, no less.
Yeah, the reason why I didn't pick him is because his impact wasn't
Yeah,
as
I can understand.
Brad Hand's impactful on shutting
Playoff
games
team.
down.
Yeah.
Well, shutting games down also.
I
Alright.
think that's about
That's
it, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. As I said before, we have our Veterans Day, our military appreciation merch out. Go check it out. It's really awesome stuff.
There will be a post going up soon.
Billy, you did a great job with that shit.
Thank
It took us 3 hours to get it done, but
Yeah,
definitely worth it. Looks good.
that's one thing, but yeah. Yep.
We have joggers now too.
Yes, we do.
Oh yeah.
You're frozen.
What else do we
So,
have? Our Black Friday sales. Be on the lookout for those as well. Holidays coming up soon. Anything else I'm missing, Billy?
nope.
Other than what you want me to say?
Your signature outro.
Hit it.
Peace.